you have to identify the level, the ground level of your storage system. This is it. The last, oh, I just did something I shouldn't. Oh my god. Hello dudes and dudesses, and welcome to another video. This time about the very simple sorting system version 2. What? What version 2? I haven't. What's version 1? I will put a link in the description and on the screen about now. The very simple sorting system is an ongoing project, and I've made a very long in-depth technical video about it. So in this video I will just very quickly tell you how it functions and what's the difference between this version and version 1. What? It's a sorting system. Some also call this a categorizer. Now let's look at the system and I will show you how it works. I will demonstrate it, and then I will take you through some key points. Maybe later, if there's a demand, I will do a very slow block by block tutorial of it. And this is how it looks. The FABmiss, as I call it, Fab for fabulous and Miss for multi-item sorting system. This is how it looks in its present and very simple state. There are, as you can see, 15 rows of chests, which means there are 15 categories that you can sort into. I have opted for stone, redstone, and that's an ender pearl and hopper, and it's just testing items. These top chests here are empty. They are aesthetic chests and therefore non-stackable items that you want to keep in that category. These two next chests are the ones that are in fact sorted by the system, and the lower chest that you can see here, and that's a neat thing with this system, it's the item filter. So you have access to the item filter right here from your storage room. And this setup I've made is one I prefer, but the idea is that you just need to take out an item and put in the item that you need to sort, and that now the system will be sorting for that item as well. Now this one sorts redstone, so let's try and put in some redstone to the system. This here is the input chest. This is two overflow chests, which you can see there are while build it up, and let's just take these as well. So if something is not in the system, or if these chests are full, or if you put in a non-stackable item, it will return to these two chests right here. Now if we put in redstone there, you can hear something going on beneath our feet, and that's a minecart taking out the items. And now you can go up here and you can see that this filter is opened. And over there the minecart is unloading and putting it in this dropper line here and putting the items back, and then the filter closes and opens again, and that's because you heard 2 clicks, and on the return the minecart, when it's emptied out over there, it clicks all of these dropper towers 2 times and return the filter item up in the system, like 1, 2, and for a stack of 64 it will take the minecart 3 runs to empty out, and for a stack of 16 it's exactly the same as I will show you over here. It's exactly the same system as over there, but it's just much easier to see what's going on. And I've opted to make this one with quartz. You can use any block that you desire, of course, but this is the raw naked system as it looks, and I think it's pretty compact, really. And it's easy here to see that it consists of 3 parts. It consists of the actual item filter slice that we will look into further down there, and then there's this part here which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks long. And this is where this is the input chest. This is the minecart that goes underneath the filter chest and pull out the item that is in this movable item filter. That's basically what it is. It's a moving item filter because we can change out what's in the first spot depending on what we put in the chest. Now the minecart goes underneath here and try to pull out whatever item it can, and when it does pull out an item, for instance, if we look up here, now every filter is closed, and if I pull out one item, the system opens. You can see there's no power on it, which means that any item that is returned by this hopper line right here will be able to drop down into these two chests right here. So that's basically how it works. Now this that I manually put back will, when the minecart goes underneath here and it comes to this point, there's a hopper underneath this powered rail, and it will put in one item, and that item will go here and in there. And if I try to get down here, you can see it goes over all of these droppers here, and these droppers all point into a dropper tower underneath each chest. So if the filter is open, the one item that we pull out will drop down here and wait in this dropper right here. These two blocks are just to make sure nothing gets in there by accident. And then the minecart goes over here, and on this spot it empties out, and you can see the hoppers going here, here, and into that dropper vator right there. Now to return the minecart, we have a neat little system, because everything of course is pulled out by this hopper. It means the system that we are sorting and the 4 non-stackable shovels that make it a movable item filter. Everything is pulled out there. So how do we return this? When does the system know to go back? I opted for connecting it to the non-stackable items, because the non-stackable items are the last items to go out, to be pulled out of that hopper, and all of the items go into this Techman 88 dropper vator that is silent. I just modified it a bit, and is pushed up here and sent back over the chests, one of which should be opened if it's an item that's in the system. And when it reaches this small filter right here, it's a filter for sorting out non-stackable items from stackable items. The shovels will be pulled out here into these hopper chain right here and put back into that chest right here. That chest right here will always have 4 open slots, and when the 4 non-stackable items is pulled out from that by that hopper there and put up here and down here, for a brief moment this chest here will be full. The non-stackable items will go back, and when they do, a comparator here reads through that block that the chest is full, and we secure that by having a redstone block going into the side of the comparator, and it powers that block and this redstone dust and this block and sends the minecart back. When the minecart is going back, we need to re-establish the movable item filter, which means we need to have 4 non-stackable items in the last 4 spots of the hopper minecart. So it goes underneath this chest right here, which is now full, and it pulls out 5 items. And then it reaches this hopper right here, and this hopper pulls out 1 item, the first item, and it is sent back in here, into there, into the system again, up there, sort it out and put into the chest. So boom, now there's 4 open spaces right here, and the minecart goes back and it passes this detector rail, which makes a current signal, and it clicks once, and because I've used lamps, it delays it, so they're all clicking at the same time, only once, but it's clicking on and it's clicking off, and via this small setup down here, it means that any item that is in a dropper in the system will go all the way up to the chest above it. The system is silent except for these 2 clicks every time the minecart returns, either to go to sleep or to collect more items from these 2 hoppers. Now the reason I have these hoppers is to slow down the rate at which this minecart, this moving item filter, can pull out stuff from the input chest. If I had the input chest directly over the hopper minecart, I could detect it, of course, with a detector rail and a comparator, but it would simply be too fast. It would fill up and have a full stack, and if there's a full stack and it goes underneath these filters, it won't be able to pull out the filter item, and it would mean that the minecart would be going through the system and it would be emptying out over there, but all of the items that comes up and goes along in this hopper line right here have no open filters, so they would just be returned to this overflow chest right here. Another thing we want is that we want this minecart to be standing still, not going when there's nothing in the system. We want it to start as soon as we put something in the system, and we want it to be able to sort items that stack to 64 and items that stack to 16, both. So I came up with this solution. If I put in items that stack to 64 now, and the minecart goes for the first time, because of the hoppers that slow down the system, it will only take out 15 items the first time it passes under. Second times it comes around, when the items are already down in the hoppers, it will take out half a stack every time. This means that there will always be room for the minecart to take out a filter item right there, and it will open the filter and the system will work. But if I just had normal powered rails underneath 2 hoppers, it would only take out 2 or 3 items, which is too slow. So I came up with this, and if you watch my first video, my very lengthy, in-depth technical video about how I made the first version, you will know that this is something that I kind of took from Mita Milo's system, although he uses it for something completely different. By having 2 observers looking into each other, and you have to move one of them with piston to make the speed correct, you actually slow down the minecart, which means that it can take out much more than 2 or 3 items. As I said, it can take, passing these 2, it can take half a stack. And the reason there's 2 hoppers and not 1 chest, the minecart kind of looks what it's going under, and this is it will be able to take out some from a double chest, but these are two entities, and it's able to take out more. And of course it also slows down the first round, as I said. But we do have a problem, because if we put in items that stack to 16 and we just put in 1 item, no problem, the system will process it and it will end up in this chest right here. But if we put in multiple items, by the time the minecart returns from its first unloading, there will be a lot of items down here, and it will actually be able to take out a full stack, and therefore it won't be able to open the filter, and the items will just be returned up here, as you see. It won't do anything. It won't break the system in any way. Nothing really can that I've tested so far, but it just means that the items won't get sorted into the correct chest. It will just go back right here. Now, the way I opted for working with this is, or work around this, is that I have this lamp here that's, when it's on, indicates that I have powered these rails down here. When these rails are powered, they work as absolutely normal powered rails, which means the minecart is going by much faster and only pulling out 2 or 3 from each hopper, which of course means that then the moving item filter here is able to pull out stuff from chests, and the system functions again. What does that mean in terms of speed? What? Well, if you have items that stack to 64, it will take 3 runs with the minecart to empty out a full stack. If you have items that stack to 16, by chance, I think, it takes exactly the same time. Let's just take, let's say, 2 stacks here and put them in and turn this on, and now we should see that, where was it? This item is pulled out, the filter is open, and the minecart is emptying out over here and going back and being a new item filter. And as you can see, there are now 11 and 10, because when you have hoppers directly underneath a double chest, it divides it evenly. And we should see the items coming in someplace here. Any moment now. Any moment, and there it is. It's coming in right there. So it's kind of slow when it comes to items that stack to 16, but I opted to have that just because I think it's nice to have the ability to actually filter for them as well. If you forget to turn on this, it makes no difference. The items are simply returned up to this one up here. Now, the way we make the minecart go when it takes something in the system is very simple. We just have 2 comparators taking an input from these 2 hoppers right here and powering that powered rail right there. And that weird looking powered rail that's going that way, it's just a way to now just alright, and you could actually, let me just say, you could actually, I think, do this as well. Just as well. Yeah, just as good. Now, the system can only have, or only, but the system is 15 long. That's the max limit of it in this simple setup. And there are a couple of reasons why, but one of them is that you need to power the rails underneath here, and you need to do that from either side. So you have a redstone block right here and a redstone block right here, and they meet, the power meet up in the middle. So that's why we have this setup right here. But I mean, you probably won't very often need to have more than 15. Then you will probably make some kind of horseshoe setup instead and have it on the other side. Now, what about the filter itself, the heart of the system? This is where it all happens. Now let's take a look at it down here. This is a slice. Now this is a slice. The very heart of the system, and it's stackable, I suppose you call it. I mean, you just build out the same slice however many times you want to have in the system. And as you can see when you look at it right now, there's power on this one, which means that nothing can go into this row, and there's not power on this one, which means everything can go into this row. And the slice of the filter is built up in a way very similar to Impulse SV overflow protected item filter, so that these redstones can be, these 2 dots of redstones can be besides each other without interfering with each other. This one is closed, this one is opened, and that's just how I built up the system with the signal strengths. That's why we are only using comparators that relay the signal strength that it gets in, and not, for instance, putting a repeater right there or something. But how the system works is you have this filter chest. There's nothing in this filter chest. So this comparator reads through the block that there's nothing in the chest, and it outputs a signal strength, and it's 0. So it goes down here and there's nothing, and this repeats nothing, and this one repeats nothing, which means that right now this row of chests is open. If we go over here, on the other hand, this chest has these items in it. This is how I prefer to set up the filter. You could have all of this filter blocks compiled in a down here, but this is really easy because it's simple to understand that you take out an item and you put in an item that you want to sort for, and that's kind of logic, I think. I don't know if you noticed it, but keep looking on that one, and now I take out an item and you can see it turns off. So on, off, on, off, on, off, on. And that's how the system works. The only thing you need to be aware of is that if you want to put in items that stack to 16 along with items mixed up with items that stack to 64, you have to be doing it a bit differently. So if I want to put in this, I can do that, and if I take out this, of course it goes off right there, but see what happens now? Nothing. And that's because the signal strength of an item that stacks to 16 is different than a signal strength from an item that stacks to 64. So you actually need to take out 4 items when you want to sort for a specific item that stacks to 16, which means that if I do 1, 2, 3, so I have this one and the extra 3, and that's 4. So now if I take out this, it turned off and on, but now it functions again. So if you want to mix them up, you have to remember that every time you have an item that stacks to 16, you need to take out 4 items. That's why I have this bundle down here, so you can take out more than just the one that's in the slot. Building tip. First of all, when you build it, it's a good idea to identify your ground level. This is where you will be standing in your storage room. This is the filter chest. So you need to go below that 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to have room for that. And the way you build the filter in survival, just to make it easier on yourself, is from this way over there, because in survival otherwise it could be a bit tricky to place the hoppers pointing the droppers pointing the right way and the observers pointing the right way. So basically what you do is you have a block like this, you place a lamp, then from underneath the lamp you have an observer looking at the lamp, and then you have 2 observers looking at the lamp and at the observer. And of course remember to put in this hopper pointing the same way, and I just messed that up, pointing the same way like so, and then the 3 droppers pointing up, and then you have your filter chest like so. And of course you put rails and dust out here. And remember, the middle one of this, whether you do it with 15 or 10 or whatever, roughly the middle one needs to be a detector rail to power this, because that's what happens when the minecarts go back. This is powered, which lights up this lamp, and then this observer is active and looked at by this observer, which fires this one, and that pushes the item up 1. And then when the lamp is unpowered, this observer is giving a signal here and pushing it all the way up there. So that's how it works. Compared to the first version of this system, I have reduced the number of dropovators by 2. Yes, 2. So there's only 1 dropovator in this system, and it's modified Techman 88, and it's silent, totally silent, so there's no sounds in it. That's the main engine of running the items back, is this one. And I achieved this by having this rather long hopper line going that way, because it dawned on me, I had one dropper beta getting the filter items, the non-stackable filter items up here, and I didn't need to. And I had one dropper beta over here that took out the return items, the filter items, and but it will never get to here. Finally my brain started working, and I was, well, actually nothing will ever get to here if it's items that are in the system, because it will be taken out. So actually only items that are not in the system will be would use that dropper beta. So I said, all right, let's just put it back right here into that dropper beta. There's a small delay before it hits the overflow chest, but I mean, who cares? It's for items that are not in the system anyway, and it will show up here eventually, and eventually is like in seconds, so it's not that slow. And let me just, I can't remember, did I demonstrate the system at all? And can I do that? Now it's in normal mode, so if I put in a stack, this will go and take out 15. It will go over here and empty out, and we should see that the non-stackable items will reach this chest very quickly, and we probably can't see, we can see them go in, and now we should see them go out as well very fast, and then we should see one returning there. So it means it's already going back and emptying out again, and the same thing will repeat itself. And you heard the 2 clicks, and now we have 22 items left, and you can see the filter is open, and when the minecart returns you will hear the 2 distinct click, and it closes, and then it pulls out, opens again, alright dudes, dudesses, thank you for watching, and if you like the video and like the system, do leave it a like, it helps the channel. If you're brand new, this is the first time ever in the fabulous universe, consider subscribing, it helps the channel as well. And if you hit that belly button, you'll be getting notifications when I put out another video. And my videos, a lot of them are redstone, some are not, all over the place, but if you like this one, maybe you will like some of the others I do. So thank you for watching, and remember, I put a world download in my Discord community. It's absolutely free to join, so there's a place in there called world downloads, I think, and you will find probably this world right here as it is now, with all kind of quirky stuff and things in chests and stuff like that. But then you can schematic or Lightmatica, whatever you want to do, the pursuits out of it, and build it, hopefully with the small tips I've been giving you here in this video right now. Only one thing to say then. Bye.